Welcome to the BCAA Business Chronicles. I'm your host, R. Emanuel Scott, Jr., President of the Bernard M. Baruch College Alumni Association, Incorporated, also known as the BCAA. The BCAA Business Chronicles is a new high-definition video business magazine totally conceived and produced by the BCAA. We will feature business experts, leaders, and students who are making an impact in the world. Writer Vincent J. Monteleone has poured passion into writing Dying to Live, his debut novel. In 2013, he graduated with a business degree from Baruch College. Since then, he discovered alternatives to the view of the world he learned about during his college years. These alternatives currently shape his passions and his writing. Vincent Monteleone is with us this evening. Good evening, Vincent.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing well today. How about yourself?
Good, good. Can't complain. Can't complain. Good to see you.
Yes.
So you're a Baruch College graduate.
I am.
How did you end up at Baruch College?
Quite simply, I knew I was going to go the CUNY route
for
financial reasons mainly.
Okay.
And I went to Monsignor Farrell High School in Staten Island, and our guidance counselor there, he kind of advised me, he said,
Great
listen,
school.
you can't, well, that's what he said. He said, these other schools that are charging so much more, you're going to get a better education coming out of Baruch and better opportunities in the future. So it really made
little to no debt.
Yes, little to no debt. It was actually, because I went to private high school, it was actually cheaper than my high school.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. Wow. Now, what did you decide to major on in college in Baruch?
I graduated with operational business management degree.
Okay. Okay. What drove you in that direction?
I originally envisioned myself going for accounting because that's what Baruch is really known for. And when I took my first accounting class, I realized that wasn't for me. And did a little research, and I ended up with the business management and then the operational side.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Now, you went to Baruch, well, from Monsignor Farrell to Baruch, and then that took you to where?
Bristol Myers Squibb Company. And I work in trademark law, which is not my degree, but I do work in the operations part of the company as well. I was actually working there as a temp while I was at Baruch.
Really? Okay.
Yes, so I was able to make my Baruch schedule to fit my work schedule and still keep my grades up while, making money. And something opened up right before I graduated. I was getting ready to graduate, and they asked me, hey, would you want to fill this position? And, the economy wasn't at its best, and the job bird in the hand, and I the devil
That's right.
I started, working there, and I've been there since. So I started 2011, official employee since 2013.
Nice, okay.
And, I'm still there today.
That's good stuff, that's good stuff. I think it's great that you worked while you were in school, because it kind of gave you an idea, and you could set your path, and then you got the offer. Outstanding, outstanding. So tell us about Brendan Marullo.
Oh. So Brendan Marullo is kind of my worst nightmare type of thing. And it's when you read the book, you realize he's a very successful man as far as money is concerned, but that's really all he was successful in, as he's comes to find out.
Because he seemed to have like a lot of material stuff.
Oh, yeah. So he's a multi-millionaire. He started his own company, tens of millions of dollars, got the, 2 nice boats. He's got the big house, vacation homes, all that. And he has a visit with the doctor that doesn't go too well. And at that point in time, he realizes, I always meant to be a better father, family man, and I was kind of waiting because I'm still young. He's 43, the main character, and he thinks, it's not going to happen to me. It can never happen to me. And he's finding out it did happen to him, and he feels a little regretful. And the book takes you on a journey through how he deals with this.
Sure, sure. I like the part of the book where he talked about meeting with other patients and listening to their stories, and he just realized, he's like, I had this all wrong. Then he realized it's the time that has the real value. Can you talk about how you came to appreciate that? Because you're relatively new right out of college.
Yes.
And most people don't realize that till they're my age.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I worked while I was in college. So I was working 4 full days a week. I was going to Baruch actually up and down. I was able to make my schedule during 2 days. So I would go into Baruch like 7:50 first class, then I would take like the 7:50 express bus home.
So you were working full-time 4 days and going to class full-time? Wow, okay.
And
that's no small task.
I was realizing how fast the calendar kept going. It was always, you know, the weekend, and it was always, you know, the next weekend again. And then it was, you know, next year, it's New Year's, and I was realizing how fast time can go. And the only thing that I was really taught was, you know, you got to go get a job. And then when you get a job, you make money, so you naturally think that's, you know, the only important thing. It's easy to get lost in it. And I hope I never do get lost in that, and that's kind of why the inspiration for this book. And the first chapter starts out with the simplicity of 8 years old, which I say is one of the best ages, because, you know, you're old enough that you can, you know, take care of, you know, little things by yourself, like tying your shoes. And
I like that about the book, because it kind of brings you in. You remember, makes you think, okay, back to when I was a kid, you know.
Back when I thought I was going to play for the Yankees and the Jets, I was going to have a decision between what I wanted to do, and, you know, then reality sets in. And
Me was the Cowboys, but I get it.
So it takes you back to that simple time, and you know, the main character is really reflecting on that and how everything was so abundant and possible at the age of 8 and simple.
Absolutely.
And you lose sight of that, or he lost sight of that, I should say.
Interesting. So, you fancy yourself a writer?
I do.
How did I guess what I'd like to understand is, how did your Baruch experience prepare you to be the writer that you are today? Because you're published.
Yes. Well, Baruch, obviously, you know, you have to take, you know, your English classes in the beginning, and those were the classes I did better on, even some of the business classes that focus more on writing, you know, term papers, and even more oral presentations, which is another way to, you know, you got to write it down to begin with to get your ideas formulated. And I think, though, the main thing that Baruch taught me is discipline. So whether, you know, you got to put yourself on a deadline. Here, you know, there's no professor coming down your throat saying, oh, you have a paper due, or you have an exam that you have to prepare for. So you kind of have to be that for yourself. But I mean, when you go to college, your first semester, it's kind of a shock when they hand you a syllabus and then the teacher doesn't tell you when something's due again. And you come, what do you mean that's due today?
That's right.
So kind of when you take on a project like this on your own, I had to say, listen, I got to sit at this computer and I got to type at least 500 words or 1,000 words today. And whether it takes 1 hour or 5 hours, I had to do it.
Wow. Interesting. Now, are there any writers that you admire, that you follow?
Well, I actually met someone who became my mentor. His name is Alex Muick. He actually works with my uncle, and he went this route too. He works full time, and he has 3 published books. And he was kind of my unsung hero in the background, like, yeah, you could do it, because I had a lot of self-doubt, I should say, in the beginning, like, you know, I'm not a writer. I can't do this. What are people going to think? And he's like, listen, if you like it, just go for it and write from your inner soul, wherever you got to go to reach down and get that.
That's great.
And he really helped me a lot in this process, and mentoring me and reading my work. There's one thing when you show your mom or your fiance, they're kind of a little biased when they're...
Our people love us, right?
Yeah, because they're going to support us no matter what.
But you had a mentor and a role model, which is important. See, there's that importance about mentorship and role models.
Yes.
Yet again, never goes away. Okay. Did the position that you have influence your career choice while you were going to school? Or did you realize after you graduated, like, I want to do some writing? Or were you thinking about it while you were...
Well, actually, I always enjoyed writing, and I actually originally wanted to go to school for journalism. And I took journalism in high school.
Really? Okay.
In my senior year, we did we had a newspaper in school as well.
Paper, yearbook, stuff
all,
like that.
All that stuff. Like we covered the Super Bowl. That was we had that assignment. And I was, it was this era where it's very hard to make it in journalism with, newspapers going out and all that stuff. And I, decided to go a different path away from maybe my first love, I should say.
Okay.
But I always try to write blogs and write on my own, mostly sports directed.
Really? Sports blogs. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And, get a couple views here and there.
Okay.
And you just have to practice, and it really helped me, just get confident when people do read your stuff and they like it, even on a, small, 500-word post.
Sure. Okay. So you also did some blogging as well. Okay, good to know.
Yes.
Now, what advice would you give to someone that's in Baruch now that's coming up and following in your footsteps?
As far as wanting to become an author?
Well, just to succeed to become an author, to succeed in business, to get your career started, because you're out here now, right, for a couple of years.
Well, the number one thing, back to with mentors and networking, networking is the number one thing I think no matter what industry you want to do, or, especially in writing now, that's actually been the harder part for me, is the business side of the book.
Really?
Writing it was up to myself. Now I have to, network with people and
market.
How my friend Lenny, who introduced us, how I'm here today.
You owe him a beer, by the way.
I do. I told him that. Lenny,
he really
if you're
reached
watching.
out to me. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So networking, and you have to put yourself out there. You really have to broadcast your skills and let people know, what you bring to the table.
Sure. Okay. How can people contact you? Because I'm sure after seeing this, you have a lot of people that want to talk to you.
Yes.
Any particular way people can reach you?
Well, you can reach me directly through email at vincentmonteleone@gmail.com, VINCENTMONTELEONE. I'm on Instagram at @V_Monty, on Twitter as well, that handle, and Facebook under Vin Monty.
Okay, very well. The book is called Dying to Live. The writer is Vincent Monteleone. Vince, it's been a pleasure having you with us.
Yes.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I appreciate this.
Thank you. I'd like to end today's show by reading a segment from Vincent J. Monteleone's Dying to Live. The 8-year-old version of me would actually be disgusted with the man that I grew up to be. I rarely do anything that I want to do during the day because I'm way too busy working. Then when I get home, I'm too tired to do anything fun or anything that I want to do. Usually I just end up sitting on the couch in front of the television like a zombie until I cannot open my eyes any longer and it's time to go up to bed and to rest up for another day of the daily grind. From Vincent J. Monteleone's Dying to Live. So this concludes today's show. We are glad you joined us, and more importantly, we hope you learned something new. Remember, you can contact us or follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. You can also reach us by visiting the BCAA website, or call, or send us an email. We'll see you the next time on the BCAA Business Chronicles. Good night.